So let's just actually talk about something else then. Let's talk about, say, you said you like PnP. Let's bring that up then.
That is correct.
So, have you actually played any games in an FOE setting?
No, just because the people I play with aren't into that kind of thing, and that's
Boo!
yeah. Well, that's just how it is, right? Either either you like it or you don't, and that's actually just kind of how this fan base really is, or rather how the story actually goes, right? But no, they're not really into that kind of thing. But we just do sort of homebrew campaigns from. Right now, we're doing D&D Fifth Edition just because it's the most convenient to run. Um, we've run 3.5 before, and I've got a Fate game that's just kind of sitting in the background, being like poked at with a stick. It's not written yet. I'm just too lazy.
So perhaps you could tell us your favorite pen and paper story then.
God. Okay, here's two different ones. So I was playing a Star Wars pen and paper, and this was like years ago, years and years ago. So it was a Star Wars setting. We were tasked with getting this ambassador from extracted from the sort of fortified bunker, and so our party wasn't really, handled to or built for a hostage setting because, like, we literally had a tech geek, we had two different types of robots, me who was a bounty hunter, and then a like a essentially we were definitely knew was a Sith Lord, but allegedly a Jedi. Um, and we none of us were really good at negotiating, and these guys were just trying to do. It was like some nefarious thing about just essentially like just destabilizing the outer rim or some garbage like that. And so, it was like, okay, which one of us has the highest charisma stat? And I was like, okay, you know what? I'll go do it because I have the highest charisma, plus as well I have multiple holdout weapons and all of the thermal detonators in the party. So, I approached the bunker. I was like, I'm the negotiator. This man, gestures at robot, is just my bodyguard. We just need to talk. Right. And so somehow I convinced them to open the door, let me in, let my definitely not assassin droid follow me in. And I was like, okay, we just want him. We have your money. It's on its way. It's in orbit. We just want to make sure that the ambassador is safe. He's like, no, we're not gonna do that. And then I think it was either I realized that he wasn't in charge or the robot realized he wasn't in charge. And then I was like, okay, I need you to just let me talk to the guy in charge. And then he was not happy about that. And then so I was like, okay, so if you don't want to do that, you know, who's in charge here? And then all the other people in the room are like, this guy's in charge. So, I whipped out my holdout weapon, shot him in the face, and went, all right, who's next in charge? And the entire room was apparently so shocked by this turn of events that they just like dropped to their weapons, pointed out a thing, and then just booked it.
You did a Han Solo.
Oh, absolutely. Like there was no reason that was going to work, but apparently, like the guy that I'd shot in the face was like there to the big tough guy, the guy with the big gun in charge. And then like there was like some sort of evil, like some evil dude in the back, and he was like, I'm here to destroy the universe. And I was like, okay, dog, you can't do that.
Dude,
But yeah, so that
we just want the ambassador. Give over the ambassador, and we'll have no more problems with you. Like literally, you can try to destroy the universe to your heart's content. You won't succeed, but that ain't my problem. It's above my pay grade. Just give us the
yeah,
ambassador. I want to go home.
Yeah, it was literally just like, I'm really not paid enough for this. Like, I'm here for him. Like, I just want to go. I just want to go get paid so I can go buy a new ship. And then more recently we were playing it was just like a sort of fantasy game that we threw together, some friends, and it was it was we were in the penultimate battle, and we were fighting just a bunch of like miscellaneous monsters because the formerly very famous and now extremely dead wizard uh turns out was just like a fucking charlatan. Like he was apparently famed for killing all of these like mythical beasts and all this stuff, and turns out all he was doing was transmuting them into objects so that he wouldn't have to fight them.
Okay, to be fair,
So
that would fulfill the bounty on them. They're no longer a
correct,
problem.
correct. But now that he was dead, no, or that after he died and his staff got destroyed, all of the inanimate objects turned back into animate objects, which were now trying to kill everybody.
Oh
One of them was like this.
no.
Yeah, one of them was like this big legendary dragon fucker who was pretty angry about getting turned into a desk. And then like there were some other things, like like literally an entire clan of kobolds that got turned into like a candlestick set. And then there was Macho Man half orc Sandy Ravage.
Sandy Ravage?
Macho Man half orc Sandy Ravage, armed with a magic folding chair.
Oh
Oh,
no.
He had a
interesting.
he had a hype man too. It was great. Well, okay, his hype man was like literally just a music box, but it was like it had the announcer voice and everything. Like, it was like the most nonsense thing I've ever heard. It's amazing. And at the time, I was playing a Squatnik rogue. I was just literally just an old Russian man with like a lot of alcohol and a lot of potatoes and not much else. And so, since I was the closest target, he literally like jumped through a window, through a second wall, and like, attempted to attack me. And so while my entire party is fighting for their lives, trying to not get eaten by this dragon, like I'm in here, like, literally throwing tables, throwing chairs, and just like kind of dodging and diving and trying to not get like turned into a pancake by Macho half orc Sandy Ravage. And
Jesus
by
Christ.
God, he gave me the elbow. He just tried to suplex me. God, it was bad. And then I realized that our party was losing, and as the sneaky rogue I am, I was like, wait, are you the Macho Man Sandy Ravage, legendary half orc of the Octagon? He was like, yes, I'm the greatest. I'm the 5-time winner, brother. I'm like, you're not. No, that's Hulk Hogan. You can't do that. But it was too late. He'd already said it. And so I was like, okay, I don't think you're good enough. I don't think you're the champion. I think you're a fake. I want you to fight that dragon outside. I want you to prove to me you are 5-time champion Macho Man Sandy Ravage. And like, my deception was -1, by the way, because this build like made no sense. But I still managed to pass the roll. And he was like, you think I'm not good enough to fight you? Watch me suplex this dragon! And he just like leaps out of like the same hole that he'd made on his way in.
So he
And like
literally goes to
went,
fight a dragon in fisticuffs.
well, and his magic folding chair. And like, even though he is not the size to suplex the dragon, he has incredible stupid amounts of strength. Because he is 5-time continental champion Macho Man Sandy Ravage. So he grabs the dragon by the leg and just like suplexes the sucker like straight into another building. And then I ran in there and like stabbed the dragon and stole the kill, and then he like suplexed me right afterward.
I think you earned that.
Oh, absolutely, but I got the kill on the dragon. That's really what matters.
You fucking kill stealed the literal Macho Man Sandy Ravage. You stole his kill, and you expected him to take that politely.
Oh no, absolutely not. Like I expected this, but I just wanted I wanted to have the bragging rights for killing the dragon, even though I had no.
Amazing.
I did like 12 damage to that dragon. Like that's it. And then I got away with it. Yeah, it's great. Like there's a bunch of moments from that campaign that are just like complete nonsense.
Oh no.
But yeah, pen and paper is a lot of fun when you have a bunch of friends that just don't take it too seriously.
Yeah. And really, Follow the Quest, like, for example, helped me get into pen and paper, and absolutely no regrets. There are some quite amazing moments one has in those campaigns.
Yeah, because that's really what those campaigns are for. You make those magic moments, and those stay with you forever. And so does Macho Man Sandy Ravage, half-orc champion.
Oh no. So going back to the Star Wars one, I've heard some quite amazing stories of like Star Wars pen and paper games.
Yeah,
Basically,
this
I heard of the bounty hunter with the flamethrower that just took out uh, Sith users by the score.
Yeah, the Star Wars Pathfinder expansions are like really well done. Actually, I've not used the proprietary Star Wars one, but that one's supposed to also be pretty good. But I've only done the Pathfinder version, and it just plays like Pathfinder, except Star Warsy. And since like Star Wars is essentially space opera, like everybody is a base or the DM is usually pretty okay with everybody becoming very, very theatrical and very space opera.
Hmm. BG, don't you have some great stories of a few times you've been in a pen and paper game?
Unfortunately, none that weren't also GM'd by you, so it wouldn't be news to you.
I know it's not going to be news to me, but it will be news to our guest.
It'll
And
be
you don't
news to
talk that
me.
much.
So yeah, you might have noticed occasionally this green unicorn mare in the slides that have been coming up. That was my character in a campaign in the Horse Wasteland. So she is basically a grunt in this Horse Minuteman militia called the Lone Star Militia.
Basically,
But
take the
it's also
Minutemen
in
and add Texas to it.
basically the Minutemen and put them into Horse, Texas, but it's also a bit of New Vegas.
Mm.
So basically, I can't quite remember what kind of support we were trying. Oh right, we were trying to get the local garrison to help us liberate the land from the Horse NCR.
Yeah.
Because well, it's a bit of a rabbit hole why we were instigating a conflict with the NCR. Let's just say some rather zany player actions in session 2 sent us down a rabbit hole. So anyway, here we have a little green dust runner having to find a way to gain an audience with a much higher ranking officer. So another party member with us, the very grandiose and hammy former Steel Ranger Paladin, Stormcall, helped her get in there by convincing the guy at the entrance, "Why, don't you recognize her? This is your new general, Dust Runner."
It
And
wasn't.
they
I don't believe it was general, but this is a lieutenant. This is someone who of an officer class.
officer class. So, basically that, and he so convinced the guy that he was like, "Oh, sorry, didn't recognize you there, ma'am. Let them in." And we managed to successfully convince the commanding officer of that post, obviously dropping the ruse when actually talking to him, that the NCR were a threat to the militia in the area. Plus, them endorsing slavery to keep their votes was also kind of a problem and point of friction. I don't quite remember some of the other details. unfortunately been a couple of years.
Mm.
But it was quite the epic moment.
Yeah, the little bit of political information behind this was that this was set a few years after Sunshine and Rainbows. I think it was about 5 or 6 years. The NCR has gone to get its hooves on the ground, but it's slightly alt history. So I always read Gordina as a character that they're not a good character. They're not a good person. They are a person that wants to get results and are willing to sometimes do bad things to get good results. So, because of that, when Red Eye's empire fell apart because he was now mouldering at the bottom of a goo pile under a pile of rubble.
Yes, of course.
Because of that, Empire collapsed into multiple different slaver factions that were trying to take control of the Empire for themselves. The NCR managed to scrape together an army of Applejack's Rangers, militia ponies, Talons, basically every single thing they could scrape together to make a fighting force. It wasn't enough to win against everybody. It was enough to beat any one threat that came against them. So, spying this situation they found themselves in, they made an ultimatum to the slaver warlords. You and your closest lieutenants get to keep your personal slaves. In exchange, you join the fledgling NCR, you tie your banners to ours, and you don't have to pick a fight with us. Everyone else, all your other slaves, have to be set free. And a number of them gave up their slave, or gave up the broad majority of their slaves to keep the ones they personally kept. And that gave the fledgling NCR the opportunity to actually turn the balance in their favor. Now, fast forward that, about 5 years, NCR Parliament exists. There's now a pro-slavery branch of the government. There is a nationalist part of the government, and then there's Gordina's clique. The slavery lobby have been actively trying to maintain slavery in some description. Since the borders are kind of very permeable, they're able to get slaves into the country, and once they're in, they get to stay. They stay in bondage. And basically, the city in which Dust Runner was trying to change the garrison's opinion on was the furthest point the NCR had reached at this point. It was a border town, so slavery was rife there because there were slavers capitalizing on the fact that you can basically buy slaves just over the border, import them in, and there's nothing the NCR can do about it.
Well, I mean, such is the way of slavery, isn't it?
It's a pernicious thing that once you, like I believe, what was it? Benjamin Franklin described slavery and such. It's like holding a wolf by the ears. You dare not hold on to it, but you also dare not let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of what happened here. Like it was pernicious enough to try and maintain its own existence. But we've spoken a bit about that campaign on the show before, so don't really need to bring it up again.
Oh, did your audio die?
No, I just stopped talking.
Oh, okay. You stopped in like the middle of a sentence. Okay.
All right. Another campaign, though, that I'd like to mention was one in which I was a diamond dog, a big doofy golden retriever, and we were set out to set off some improvised explosive charges all around a metro station held by a cult. So one of our bombs was successfully smuggled, but the team that my character, the dog Riley, was transporting, unfortunately got held up by one of their slaver officers. who then, rooted through it and found an egg timer amongst the stuff. Thankfully, he didn't find the explosive himself, but he still was quite suspicious of that. So to quickly defuse the situation, my character then because you see, this was a unicorn supremacist cult, so we had a unicorn party member basically pretending to be the slave owner of my diamond dog. So my diamond dog quickly spoke up, "Oh, Master keeps taking away my toys. I like to play with these little things." And just thankfully that threw the scent off completely, with the guy just sort of tossing it back to the diamond dog, who then stuck his tongue out at his quote-unquote master. So unfortunately, that bomb wasn't successfully smuggled in, but the others were, and we managed to make a clean getaway as the station was engulfed in chaos, with our party committing some chaotic good domestic terrorism.
Yeah, that went well.
Plan comes together.
Yeah, I believe the acts of terror were my character's idea. Yeah, I was playing basically a griffin doctor, like kind of a doctor, more like a mortician, a griffin mortician.
Some
Same
doctor who comes up with a terroristic plot, eh?
Yes, he did. His name was, off the top of my head, I keep forgetting his name.
Whoops, I forgot it too.
Oh, fuck. How did I forget this? Salem. That was his name. Salem. So, the Griffin Salem suggested the plan that they plant bombs in key locations inside the township to create a distraction while we grabbed the MacGuffin that was sitting on a plinth in the middle of their culty, churchy place. Plan worked perfectly. We basically just it was like, I think, I'm pretty sure he just went and got a crit success on his sneak roll and just yoink inside the coat pocket and gone before anyone could notice.
Sneaky.
Sneaky burb. Very sneaky burb. Anyway,